This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
Good evening. Welcome to the Glazov Gang. Tonight, the Trump Averse syndrome. Our very special guest, James Patrick Riley, a farmer and a television producer. Welcome back to the Glazov Gang, Jim.
Great to be here, Jamie.
What an honor and a privilege to have you back. Let us begin. You've written a very profound article, The Trump Averse Syndrome, at your site, jamespatrickriley.com. You diagnose, to some extent, the never Trump people. Let's begin with just in general what inspired you to write the article and what you're saying.
Well, I have been a Cruz supporter throughout this entire primary. Gave all my contributions to Ted Cruz, but I feel like we're in for our lives here, fight for the Republic. And I was confused watching the reaction of many of my friends and pundits to what went on in the kitchen. I was watching what I thought was red meat thrown out to conservatives, pro-Second Amendment values, pro-life, picking the greatest pro-running mate in the history of the Republic. And I was watching people's response to this, and they truly did look, as I think your boss at the Freedom Foundation said, they had a bit of a derangement about the way they were responding to this message. And I couldn't connect what I was hearing from the podium with the response of people who just could not accept a message of truth, liberty, life, freedom from someone they didn't approve of. I think, if you look from a Christian perspective or a scriptural perspective, so God gives you a Samson, sometimes he flawed heroes who carry this. And I think a lot of people are not ready, unfortunately, to fall in line behind her who they think has flaws for their own taste.
Yeah, something is definitely very bizarre with this whole thing. Lately, I've been reflecting, Jim, it almost seems like a lot of those Cruz people that hate Trump with so much ferocious derangement almost. It's almost as if they're coming out of some cult or something. Like, it's almost as if they can't believe that Cruz didn't win, in the sense that they thought that there was like even some spaceship coming to get them. There's something eerie about some of these people and how much they hate Trump. Am I correct?
Oh, I think so. It's like being in the stands at a Little League and your kid didn't get to go up on the mound and pitch the game. And you're actually watching parents root against the home team. It's got to be the most immature response to the in front of us that I can imagine.
Jim, there's some other things you mention in your article, very profound. I've been thinking of some of these things. And you really hit the nail on the head with some of the phenomena happening here. You write in one section that this guy, referring to Trump, is totally male. Totally male. He doesn't apologize for being a man, and he is nowhere near being a gentleman like Marco Rubio or Ben Carson or Ted Cruz. So there's something here about conservatives and of course not all conservatives, but a certain segment of the conservative movement that's kind of uncomfortable with the impolite male, the alpha male. Can you comment on that a bit?
Certainly. I think it's encapsulated the response of a Southern evangelical named Max Lucado has a big church, and for years he's been silent about black racism, of black raciality, the abortion culture that was basically promoted, and he's been silent on that front. But when Trump calls a bimbo, that's when he chooses to the defense of. I'm not sure what cause he's defending, but the reality is, if you're watching the killing fields, if you're watching taking out political dissidents, you're silent for years, and then you choose to raise your voice when someone's been a little too male, when someone's been forthright, when someone's been a little bit too impolite. I think there's some very strange priorities being revealed there, and I think there's a lot of people who will never be what their daddy was, and they would rather be in the losers club. They'd hunker back and be in the reject club together, standing behind a leader. And it's a very thing. I mean, I think that Need to really say, do we really want to live in a republic that's been led for 12 years by democratic socialists? Are we damage that could be imposed? Talking about a Supreme Court that's going to be devastated if we don't win this victory.
No, absolutely, Jim. And, I've been thinking of some of these things, and you're really crystallizing them. A lot of conservatives, the problem with so many conservatives, and, David Horowitz has documented this brilliantly, they don't know how to fight political war. The left is fighting political war 24/7. And we've got these Romney types that, during that third debate, the foreign policy debate with Obama, where he should have just gone for the jugular and said during the night of Benghazi, you have blood on your hands. What were you doing that night? And he's just sitting there trying to be a nice guy. And that's what a lot of conservatives want. And I think that that's what a lot of never-Trumpers want. And they'd rather lose than have, a real man that knows how to fight political war. And as you say, and you also write in your article, he might not have a well-trimmed lawn, and he might not be into honorable compromise or reasonable discourse, but this is a losing battle.
It is. And people of faith who theoretically are talking about Abraham, who goes in his nephew Lot with 300. We're talking about a Samson who delivered the children of Israel from the. And we have people who are actually looking at someone who's willing to champion their cause, a few human flaws, and they're saying, I can't go with you on this. I'm a Sunday school teacher, I imagine. And the reality is, the last time a Sunday school teacher, our Iranian mats were taken hostage by a frenzied Iran. We need more of a Chesty Burgess Patton at this time. Gary Bauer. As much as I like Gary Bauer, I think Mitt Romney is a civil guy. We need someone who will lead us in battle. That Donald Trump is that man, even though I just don't understand why people don't want to win this battle.
You mentioned the daddy thing. You've mentioned it this evening a bit. Can you just expand on that? You argue that there's some daddy issues here with many of these never-Trumpers.
Very clear. I think it's very clear, and I'll say this among weak women, not among strong women who are in good marriages and who have years, and they like Trump. But there are people, there are weak witnesses who didn't in anything that they can brag about, who really are bothered by the daddy, and who's willing to lead the family to a place that will be good for the entire assembly. But that they're screaming in the back seat. They're saying, and that's exactly the way they're responding.
I'm sorry for laughing, but it's so tragically true that it's funny. But I might cry afterwards because this is a catastrophic situation. Jim, we've got to go. Just some concluding thoughts on this derangement when it comes to Trump among a lot of conservatives. We're facing. When you look at the situation, there's a communist that could rule the United States. And we even see on our Facebook, Jim, there's some people that are like, oh, Trump's wife was naked 10 years ago in some kind of magazine or something. And, I don't know the specifics of that. But what does it matter when an individual can save America from jihad?
As we tape this here, I've got 6 of my grown kids downstairs. Kids been married for 28 years. But listen, if I'm in, I don't care if I get rescued by a general who's a hard drive, few French call girls and drinks whiskey. I resist what God gives me in terms of who to. We have got to be willing to say that things are going to lead us and they're going to have flaws. We cannot expect that the priest of Melchizedek to be the one who's going to be running for the presidency. We got to grow up, folks, and we got to win this battle.
Jim, thank you very much for joining us. Just on a personal human level before we go, it says you're a farmer. Can you just, for our audience that might not know, what does that mean exactly? There's a big farm?
Yes, my family, we run 760 Glen, which is on the road to Palm Springs, apples, and we conduct Revolutionary War for school kids. And we're here round the year. You can come and visit us anytime.
What kind of animals are there?
Oh, we have cattle. We raise Angus sheep. We have chickens, cows, and we serve great pork in the restaurant.
What is your favorite animal?
Well, I like Angus cattle. you actually get to raise your own cattle, have hamburgers and stuff from cattle raised on your farm. You can't beat it.
No, I don't mean to eat. I mean like to hang around with and bond with.
Hang around. I like animals I can eat.
Okay, very interesting. James Riley, thank you very much for joining the Glazov Gang.
Thank you. Love your show.
Thank you very much. And if you like this program and appreciate what we do, go to jamieglazov.com to support the show and make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel of the Glazov Gang. Good night.